After paying off their $180,000 debt, I wasn't invited to Easter. You make us feel poor. Mom texted. I sent my bank statement without a word, then blocked them all. 20 minutes later, my sister was screaming. My dad was calling. And that's when I went even further. You know what your problem is, my sister said, already halfway through her second glass of wine. You think money makes you family? I stared at her, blinking, trying to figure out if this was supposed to be a joke. It wasn't. My mother didn't even look up from her phone. Don't be dramatic, Erin, she muttered. It's Easter. Let's not start one of your moods. It was April 13th, 2 days before Easter Sunday. I was sitting alone at my kitchen counter, phone in hand, rereading the family group chat for the third time. The one where they all confirmed the Easter brunch. 11 a.m. sharp. My parents' house. Everyone bringing something except me. I wasn't invited. No one had said a word. No message. No call. No, are you coming this year? Not even a lie to pretend I was missed. Just silence. And I wouldn't have known if it weren't for my cousin Madison. Bless her soft heart and big mouth. She texted me by accident. Are you bringing that spinach pie again? And Lydia said she hopes you do. She meant to text my sister. She texted me, the one who wasn't even on the guest list. I didn't reply. I just scrolled back, combing through the thread. There it was, photo after photo of pastel napkins, quiche recipes, and my mom gushing about how finally the family feels complete again. Complete as in without me. And that's when I felt it. Not the usual sting, not even anger, just this cold, clean clarity, the kind you get right before a freefall. You see, 6 months earlier, I paid off every last cent of their debt, $180,000. Medical bills, mortgage, arrears, Emily's grad school loans she never even finished paying back, my dad's IRS balance, which he still called a misunderstanding. All gone. My bank account, meanwhile, took a hit that would have knocked most people flat. But I'd planned for it. I'd saved for years. Skipped vacations. Skipped weekends. Skipped saying yes to myself. I didn't do it for a thank you, but I also didn't expect to be erased. Then the text came. One line from my mom after I'd asked her politely why no one had thought to include me. You make us feel poor. That was it. No emoji, no punctuation, just that. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. I opened my banking app and took a clean screenshot of the transfer records. Every payment I'd made in the last year, from the $42,000 payoff of the house to the $600 Target card Emily never paid. I sent it to the group chat. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a call from my dad. I declined it. Then my sister started texting. What did you just do? Answer your phone. Don't do this here. Please unblock Mom. And finally, you're ruining everything. But I wasn't done. Not yet. Because what they didn't know, what they never saw coming, was how far I was about to go. The silence lasted 3 days. Then Dad broke it. He sent a single email. Subject, be reasonable. No greeting, no apology, no hint of understanding. We didn't mean to exclude you, but the truth is your attitude lately has been difficult. Easter should be about joy. You showing up with that tension in your eyes, that's not joyful. Don't make this bigger than it is. Asterisk. Attached, a PDF of a cheesecake recipe. As if baking something might bring me back. I deleted it, but something inside me cracked. Not the kind that heals. I started pulling receipts, literal ones. Every dollar, every transfer, every Venmo for Emily's copay and Dad's breaks and Mom's emergency dental. I made a spreadsheet, every row labeled $18,068. Emily's last chance before collections loan. $13,500. Dad's tax lien from 2021. $600. Mom's overdraft after buying Emily a new mattress. And then it hit me. They didn't forget me on Easter. They never remembered me unless something broke. I was a walking backup plan, a soft place to land, their personal ATM with a conscience. And I was tired. But they weren't. Emily posted a carousel on Instagram that same day, her in a sundress holding a mimosa. Caption, so grateful for the people who never make me feel like I owe them anything. The last photo was all of them at brunch. Dad in his stupid salmon polo, Mom holding Emily's dog like it was the grandchild I never gave them. Then a photo of a house that looked exactly like mine. No caption, but the implication was clear. That's when I knew this wasn't just about money. This was about control. I texted Emily, one sentence. You posted my house. She read it, didn't reply. 2 hours later, a package arrived at my door. No name, no return address. Inside was a framed picture of my family. Mom, Dad, Emily, last year's Christmas. I wasn't in it. I didn't take the photo. I was in the hospital that week, post-flu, recovering in silence while they posted hashtag blessed family pictures with eggnog. The frame had a note taped to the back. This is what peace looks like. That night, I checked my credit report. 3 hard inquiries I didn't authorize. 1 for a car loan, 2 from private lenders, all from the same city my parents live in. I called the bank, asked if any recent applications had used my personal information without permission. The woman on the line went quiet. Yes, she said finally. Actually, there's one pending right now. I froze. She read the application. Robert Cartwright, my father. Applied 2 days ago. Listed me as co-signer. Used an old lease agreement I'd sent him years ago as proof of residence. That was the moment I stopped giving the benefit of the doubt. I called him. He didn't answer. Then I called Mom. She did. Why would he do that? I asked. She was quiet for a beat too long. Then, we thought you wouldn't mind. We thought you wouldn't mind. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because she said it like borrowing my identity was asking for a glass of water. I told her to cancel the application immediately. Her response? Maybe if you weren't so distant, we wouldn't have to guess how you'd react. That's when I knew. They were never going to stop. So I changed the rules. The next day, I created a new email address. I didn't send anything from it yet. I just prepared. Then I backed up every financial document I had. Screenshots, statements, even voice recordings, like the one from last summer when Emily called crying at 2 a.m. because her car died in the middle of nowhere and I wired her $850 within 5 minutes. I still have the clip. You're the only one I can count on, she sobbed. I swear I'll pay you back. She never did. I went deeper. Found the old hard drive from my laptop, the one Emily borrowed 3 years ago and returned wiped. But I'd mirrored it before she took it. I opened it. Inside were her email drafts, screenshots from her notes app, fake sob stories she used to guilt ex-boyfriends. One file was labeled, "Things to say if Aaron brings up money." My name, bullet pointed. You always bring up money like it makes you better. No one asked you to pay. You clearly need therapy, not family. Then came the real hit, a video from Christmas 2 years ago. Me in the kitchen, cleaning up, while they all opened gifts. Emily was filming, whispering. Look at St. Aaron, always working, never invited. Laughter in the background. Then my mother's voice. She likes being the helper, don't ruin it. My vision blurred, not from tears, from rage. That night I created a folder, proof. I filled it with PDFs, audio, images, even transcriptions. Then I zipped it and saved it to a drive labeled, "In case they try again." I didn't have to wait long. 2 days later, I got a text from Emily. Hey, can you send $300 for dog daycare? We're going away this weekend. As if nothing had happened. No apology, no acknowledgement. Like the only glitch was that I'd stopped paying on time. I didn't reply. She sent another. You're seriously going to ghost the people who raised you? Then Mom joined in. Emily's stressed. The least you could do is help her. Then finally Dad. Let it go already. You've done your part. No one's asking you to save us. That's when I sent it. The bank statement. Clean, cropped. $180,543.27 paid out in total since 2019. No words, just numbers. And that's when my phone started ringing. Emily, then Dad again. FaceTime this time. Then came the Facebook messages, the DMs from random aunts, screenshots my coworkers sent me of a Facebook post from Mom. Some people think money makes them better than others. Easter is about real love, not transactions. Below it, a photo of the brunch. Caption, we chose peace this year. I chose silence, but peace. They hadn't even seen what was coming. Because I wasn't just cutting them off. I was going to dismantle the story they'd built around me. And when it fell apart, when the mask slipped, they would finally understand. I was never the problem. I was just the one who stopped pretending everything was fine. They didn't know I was coming. And that was the point. When my sister texted my old landlord 2 days before Easter to ask if that girl with the ponytail still lived in Aaron's building, I knew they thought I'd disappear again. Stay quiet. Stay out of the way. Just like I always had. But this time I wasn't bringing dessert. I was bringing evidence. And I wasn't coming alone. The brunch was scheduled for 11 a.m. I got there at 10:57. I pulled up to the curb outside their suburban house, the one I'd been paying the mortgage on for 3.5 years, and just sat there for a second. My heart wasn't racing. My hands weren't shaking. I was calm. Because today wasn't about rage. It was about reckoning. When I walked up the driveway, I could hear them inside. Laughter, plates, clinking glasses, a celebration without me again. I rang the bell once. The door opened, and my mother's face dropped like a bad hand of cards. She didn't speak. She just stepped aside. Inside, the house looked like a Pinterest post. Easter eggs, white lilies, matching outfits. Emily, in a floral dress, already half drunk on champagne, froze with her fork midair. Dad, standing at the head of the table, muttered, "Well, well," like a villain in a low-budget drama. "You weren't invited," he said plainly. I smiled. "I know." Then I reached into my bag and pulled out an envelope. "Since we're being honest," I said, placing it on the table, "you might want to read this before the quiche gets cold." Inside was a full audit. PDFs of every dollar I ever sent them. Screenshots of Emily asking for dog daycare money that went to her nails. A bank log showing how Mom funneled grocery funds into her HSN addiction. And most importantly, the letter from the bank. The one confirming the mortgage was never refinanced like Dad claimed. Just quietly transferred into my name 3 years ago when he defaulted and begged me to temporarily cover it. I watched them read. Watched Emily's fingers twitch. Watched my mother mouth the words like poison. Watched my father's face go pale as paper. "That's not all," I added, pulling out my phone. I tapped play. Emily's voice filled the room. "If she finds out, we'll just say she offered. Aaron always caves eventually." Dad's voice next. "She's too soft to walk away. Just guilt her like last time." And finally, my mother. "If she starts acting out, remind her who paid for her college. Doesn't matter that it's a lie. She won't check." Silence. Thick. Unforgiving. Real. I looked at my sister. "Want to tell them about the fake messages you made? The ones in your notes app where you rewrote texts from me to make it look like I was threatening you?" Emily said nothing. So I pulled out a flash drive and tossed it onto the table. "Everything's on there. Photoshop files, edits, metadata, the works. My lawyer has copies." My dad stood up suddenly, fist clenched. "You think this proves anything? You think people care? You're just bitter." "No," I said calmly. "I'm just done." Then I opened the front door, and in walked Morgan, Emily's ex. The one she told everyone was violent, toxic, obsessed. The one she said I defended because I hated seeing her happy. He held a thick folder, tabbed and numbered. "Nice house," he said, nodding around the room. "Pity it's all built on lies." My dad lunged forward, but I stepped between them. "You touch him," I said, "and this goes to every media outlet between here and DC." I looked him in the eye. "You think Easter's ruined? Wait until this gets escalated to the right people." My mother sank into a chair. Emily turned to Morgan, desperate. "You don't understand." "I do," he cut her off. "That's why I'm not letting this slide." He looked at me. "You ready?" "More than ever." As I walked out, I heard Emily scream. Not a word. Just a guttural sound of panic, like someone whose power had been stripped mid-sentence. My father followed me onto the porch, shouting, "You're making things worse for everyone." I turned around. "No," I said, "I'm just turning the lights on." Then I walked away. They waited for the explosion. They expected fireworks. They thought I'd go online, spill everything, burn them down with a viral thread, because that's what you do now, right? But I didn't. I didn't post. I didn't tweet. I didn't record a sob story in a dimly lit room with a shaky voice and hashtags like #FamilyBetrayal. I just went quiet. And that's what destroyed them. The Monday after Easter, my dad texted, "You won't get away with this. 2 hours later, we need to talk." Then a voicemail from my mother, whispering through tears. "Please don't do anything drastic. Emily's overwhelmed." That's what they were saying. But I hadn't even started, because I'd already done the one thing they truly feared. I closed every door. I froze the mortgage, reported the unauthorized application that used my name, cut off every auto payment, filed formal complaints for unauthorized paperwork submitted under my identity going back to 2018. Quietly, legally, irreversibly, the house was no longer mine to save. The car Emily drove was repossessed by the end of the week. That small business grant application Dad bragged about from the veteran program? Flagged for review. And the cherry on top, a single envelope, certified mail, arrived at their door Friday morning. Inside was a formal affidavit documenting financial abuse and identity misuse. No threats, no theatrics, just facts. And one handwritten note. "You had everything you needed and still chose to take more." That weekend, I drove 3 hours north. No destination, just a coastline, just quiet. I stayed in a rental cabin with no Wi-Fi, no TV, just me, a notebook, and a prepaid phone that only one person had the number to. My old boss. A woman who taught me early that survival isn't about screaming louder. It's about knowing when to vanish. I stayed there 3 days. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't check messages. Didn't check social media. I just existed. Without being useful. Without being responsible. Without performing guilt. It was heaven. When I came back, my inbox was full. A message from a distant cousin. They're saying you're in rehab. A DM from a woman I once dated. Your sister's going live tonight to clear her name. Just FY. A voicemail from my father. Breathless. Furious. You think you're clean. You think this doesn't touch you too? You've embarrassed this family. People talk. We had to tell them something. They were spiraling. Because the worst thing I did wasn't confrontation. It was silence. No rebuttals. No clarifications. No defense. They threw punches in the dark and I watched them swing at shadows. Emily posted a cryptic tweet. Funny how people disappear when they're guilty. Under it, a reply from one of her friends. Didn't your sister pay off your tuition though? Then another. Wait, wasn't she paying your rent too? Then silence. Then deletion. Then her entire profile went private. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived at my new address. No return name, but I recognized the handwriting instantly. We never meant for things to go this far. If you just acted normal, none of this would have happened. Classic. No ownership, just blame. Signed at the bottom in shaky cursive. Love, Mom. I burned it slowly, page by page. Then I did the one thing they never expected. I built a new life quietly. I bought a small fixer-upper an hour outside the city. Cash. No co-signers. No witnesses. Painted the walls sage green. Hung shelves. Adopted a dog from a shelter. A 3-legged mutt with a scarred ear and the gentlest soul I'd ever met. I named her Balance. I went back to work. A new company this time. Fewer clients. More freedom. I told them I didn't want management. Just projects. Just peace. No family forwarding address. No emergency contacts. No strings. And the best part? I didn't owe anyone a single explanation. They can say whatever they want. Invent whatever version of me they need to feel less guilty. Tell their little circles that I'm lost, or angry, or unstable. Let them scream into the void of their own making. Because here's the truth. You don't need to go viral to get justice. You don't need 1 million likes to be free. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away without a word and never come back. I used to think I was the problem. Not forgiving enough, not grateful enough, not easy enough to love. Every time they lied to me, I asked what I did wrong. Every time they left me out, I blamed myself for being hard to deal with. Every time they used me, I told myself I offered too much. But I see it now. I wasn't hard to love. I was just easy to use. It's been 5 months. No texts, no voicemails, no fake apologies wrapped in Christian guilt. I changed my number, filed a mail forwarding stop, blocked every known contact, including the family friends who used to ask if I was doing better. And the silence? It's delicious. My mornings start with coffee and a view. No dad, no emergency calls, no frantic "can you help" messages 5 minutes before rent is due. Just quiet. My dog snores under the table while I type. My porch plants are still alive, something I never managed when I lived under chaos. I see people when I choose to. I give only when I want to. And not a single person knows where I live unless I want them to. Last week, I got another letter. No return address. Inside was a photo of the 3 of them. Mom, Dad, Emily, standing in front of the old house. It was falling apart. Paint peeling. Grass dead. Shutters hanging crooked like broken promises. On the back, scrawled ink. Family always finds its way back. I burned it in a ceramic bowl on the patio. Watched it curl into ash. Then I poured myself a glass of wine and made the final change I'd been saving for this exact moment. I pulled out a small matte black metal sign. Not for Instagram, not for clout. Just for me. I took a screwdriver, walked to the wooden gate of my home, and fastened it into place. No emergencies allowed. Underneath, in smaller letters, this is not your escape plan anymore. Let them tell stories. Let them rewrite history. Let them scream into their echo chamber. Let them live in the silence they built. I'm not the one who walked away from the family. They're the ones who turned it into a transaction and expected me to smile while drowning. Now I'm free, and they're exactly where they deserve to be.